It's an old story, and frankly one that has been and will be debated for years to come. Just how much influence does advertising unhealthy foods affect the waistlines and general health of our youth? Both sides of the debate are armed with medical and psychological studies which obviously prove their point, which is why the debate continues. And the debate in Washington, D.C. seems to be gaining fervor. Perhaps good news and clarity on the way? Just last week, the Federal Trade Commission announced the debate is not over yet. The organization is taking yet another look at the proposed guidelines. In a published statement last Friday, Cecilia Pruitt of the FTC said, Congress has clearly changed its mind about the marketing guidelines and that FTC will be assessing its language and working towards congressional intent. According to the Associated Press, Senator Tom Harkin, who led the 2009 effort to introduce the legislation to regulate the advertising, said Friday that the delay is a huge loss for our nation's children, who will continue to be bombarded with ads for junk food and sugary soft drinks. Earlier this year, voluntary guidelines were proposed that set a maximum level for fat, sugars, and sodium. The guidelines also recommended that food companies not market any foods or beverages that exceed the maximum levels to children aged 2 through 17 on television, websites, signage, and even the packages themselves. Sorry, Tony. And most important is that at this point, the suggested guidelines are voluntary. So why this debate? We at the Lempert Report believe that the lobbying against voluntary guidelines are sure to fast-track mandatory ones. And then we lose yet another opportunity to show our shoppers and the government that, in fact, we can do the right thing without being legislated. The Food Institute Price Tracker when the Lempert Report continues.
Monsanto, producing more, conserving more, improving farmers' lives. That's sustainable agriculture. More at producemoreconservemore.com.
With wholesale price advances still exceeding those at the retail level, the Food Institute's price tracker projects retail food prices will remain well above prior year levels into early 2012 as some food retailers pass along these increases. It is likely that retail price inflation will ease somewhat in the late spring to early summer. Brian Todd, Food Institute's president, reports that for the foreseeable future, it looks like the price increases that retailers have encountered in stocking their shelves will outweigh the increases that they're passing along to consumers. During November, prices for food at home declined for the first time in a year, as reflected by the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, dropping 0.4% from October. Nonetheless, prices are still almost 6% more than they were a year ago. The tracker notes that only 4 of the major food categories that it tracks posted price increases during the month of November compared to October, with sugars and sweets posting a significant 1.7% decline, followed by processed fruits and vegetables dropping 1.2%. But when compared from a year earlier, prices in all of the categories were up, ranging from a 3% increase for poultry to a 17% jump in the price for coffee. Overall, a 5.9% advance in prices for the entire retail food or food-at-home categories. For more at what is happening to food prices, you can turn to foodinstitute.com. The Lempert Report uploads right here 3 times a week with the information you need to stay ahead of the trends. For more, just visit thelempertreport.com.